What is up, PD2 fans? Of Eric here. I do have another cool Druid build to show you. This is still an Innocence proc build. I think it's the better way to do it. You're no longer relying on the Infinity Iron Golem, which I think is a little impractical, and some of you are probably happy to hear that. I do want to take a second and just let you know I've enjoyed testing these Innocence build a lot. I think that a lot of people are saying that it needs to get nerfed. I don't think Innocence itself needs to get nerfed. I think that there's some aspects of Innocence, some builds, some mercenaries that could use a little tuning. But as far as the Innocence rune word goes, I think it really opens up a lot of really cool builds. Not all of them are GG builds. In fact, there's really not a whole lot of GG builds. I think there's still just playing it regular is still probably the best way to do it. But it's inserting a new play style, which I think is really cool. I'm never trying to be a passive player. I'm never just trying to teleport and things die. I like weaving in abilities. I like weaving in cool things while you're playing, while you're teleporting. So this is never going to be just some passive setup where you just teleport and stuff dies. So you're going to see me using abilities, but let's take a look at what I have. I want to show you, like, I think this is the optimal Innocence setup. I think it uses a lot of the Druid's strengths, and I think nothing really goes to waste. So without further ado, let's check it out. Alright, as always, I'm going to talk about gear setup first, and then we'll do some maps. But just to get right into the gear, let's show you what we got. As always, we got the lidless call to arms for pre-buffs. But going into the main build, we are using skillers, right? So we're using Illy skillers, and we are still using the Quetzal helm to get our Gust to 0.5. Now, what should be noted is if you're able to get Gust to 30, after buffs, that is all you need. However, this build does not have enough plus skills to get Gust to 30, so you are still using the Quetzal helm. I do still like this helmet because it has faster cast, and you can get +3 skills. I don't think it's going to go for a whole lot of money. This is probably a pretty cheap helmet, because it is just a tier 1 helmet. I have upped this twice to a Sun Spirit, but yeah, it's a tier 1 helmet, so it's probably not going to be too expensive. Next up is Headhunter's Glory. So I really like this shield because it just has everything. I mean, if you are a physical damage dealer in any way, Volcano, Armageddon, their physical damage, you're going to want the amp. So with an Innocence build like this, you have free amp, you have free sockets, you have a free potential corruption outside of sockets. I mean, it's basically pre-boxing a shield before you socket it, or before you slam it, excuse me. You have really good life after kill. I mean, 5 to 7 roll is really nice, and you have good resists. I mean, you have fire, you have poison, you have curse resistance. So it's a pretty good, just all around nice ability, nice item. And I think probably the most important is the defense you get from this item. You get 420 flat defense, and you get 350 flat defense versus missile. So that's a really nice tanky item. So great all around. Next up, Marowaks. I found that with creepers, I didn't really need the Silkweave mesh. So you can use Marowaks. You can get that CBF. I got a life after kill slam because it's helpful, obviously. BK ring. I will say the one downside of this build is it's hard to get that 99 FCR. Now you can always use a 20 FCR ring and lose a skiller or two. It's not going to change the build. It's not going to kill you. So I think if you want to play a little slower, you can just hit that 78 a lot easier and just ride that out. But you're going to see I have some pretty big FCR slams on everything. So yeah, I mean, you can get a 220, so that's going to help you out. Obviously, this is probably going to be the hardest to hit, the hardest to get. But yeah, it's something to work towards. It is a obviously expensive build, but you can either run, as I said, the 68 with the skillers, with the skill rings, or drop the skill rings and get 99 as you're kind of leveling up, as you're kind of working on this build. But obviously something to aspire towards. So as you can see, I already showed most of the gear at this point. You do have a nice amulet, You can also throw in like a Mara's. Your resists are pretty high, so you know, you don't need a whole lot. But obviously I'm using all resist charms, so you're gonna have to use some charms here. But yeah, again, Mara's is probably a good option. And yeah, double BK ring just because it's a very high life build. You can see I'm not even buffed, and I'm almost near 1900. I'm not even wearing all life grand charms either. I have a couple FCR in there, so it is a nice all life build. And I think lastly, the best part about this is you're actually wearing a Phoenix weapon. I feel like this has just never had its time to shine. It's never had the, you know, I don't really think I've ever seen a build use the Phoenix weapon. So I've always tried to like think of where that could potentially be used. And I think this is it, right? I mean, so you have, and as I was saying in the introduction, nothing seems to go to waste. I feel like you're utilizing everything that the Druid can have. You're playing on the strengths of high health. You have a high, you're still leading with Volcano, and you're buffing Armageddon. Now, obviously, these are not the highest level, and people can get them to like 9k damage on Armageddon. So, but that's, you know, that's not a proc build. This is a proc build where you're doing a lot of damage with your main abilities, but then you're also doing a lot of damage with your proc ability, right? So Firestorm is actually, you know, it's a low level ability, but it can really pump. So when you have a level 40 Firestorm with all the tendrils, right? So as you level it up, you're getting more and more tendrils. So it's got, I think, 7 tendrils from what I saw on the PD2 wiki. And when you max the synergies, which I have, so Molten Boulder and Fissure, it's going to do a lot of damage, and it's mainly fire damage. Not mainly, it is fire damage, so that's all it is, but it's doing a decent chunk. So it's really helping weaken those enemies, and your Volcano is finishing them off. And again, you have Infinity, so you have Conviction Aura. So that is the gear, and then I don't think I showed it, but Mage Fist with +1 skills. Now, you'll also see that this is a very low strength requirement build. I think the highest is 118 here. So you're actually able to make the Innocence in a, I think I found that 121 strength is needed for the Kraken's plate. I think that's the, so if you pump, you know, 3 more strength, you got that. So probably going to be the highest defense. I do think Pluggy has not adjusted for Archon Plate, because this is still the next best after Ancients, or after Sacred Armor on Pluggy, but I think that's been adjusted in the game. So that's the gear setup. I think I went over everything. Talking about Mercenary, pretty standard Mercenary as I showed last time. You got the Infinity, you got the Ferocity and Innocence for taunt. This is not super necessary, but this is probably just a way to just spend your runes when you get to high end. It does help. I think Ferocity is a really nice ability, a really nice rune word, because it keeps you protected, right? It's weakening the mobs by a lot, right? So their attack rating and their damage are both going down. So it's essentially adding a whole lot of PDR% to you inadvertently. And then yeah, String of Ears, Hellmouth, just to get some more procs. The boulders help. Nice meteor. I mean, you're doing things that are giving him amp, so these are going to actually do some damage. Probably not necessary. You can maybe go like, I don't know, soul drainers, or just regular increased attack speed, just to get him some sort of attack speed, because he's at like no frames. But that's all right. He doesn't die. And then Marlocks for CBF. Skills and stats. We will go over real quick. Essentially, skills are easy. You're just maxing your fire stuff, right? There. You're one pointing everything else. I am using Hurricane because I think it's giving you slow. So that's nice to have. And then nothing in shape shifting. And you're one pointing all of your creepers, and then you're just dumping into Oak Sage. So this is what I think is the best way to do it. And the nice thing is you are dumping, and I mean, you're already at 33. I think I had 17 skill points remaining. And this character is 99, right? But 17 minus 99, or you know what I mean, 99 minus 17, you're able to finish out this build pretty quick, and then the rest of it is just getting more health. So again, I do have my Gust cooldown to 0.5, and I'm maxing all these synergies. They're not the greatest level. You're not getting the best plus skills from your main hand and offhand, but you are doing a decent chunk of damage, and you do have a nice proc of Firestorm. And of course, right, look at this rune word. I mean, it gives you Firestorm proc, it gives you Redemption Aura, it gives you ITD. We have another one, ITD, so that's always helpful. Giving you the Fire Pierce, and giving you the Defense First Missiles and the Fire Absorb. So very nice all-around weapon. I think this is helping you a ton, especially coupled with this. You have like over 700 Defense First Missiles, and I think people underestimate how good of a stat defense is. I think it's really going to help you stay relatively tanky. You got the Defiance Aura from your Act 2 Mercenary, so all in all, you're a very tanky class. So, I think we've gone over everything. Stats, skills. I didn't do stats, I apologize, but stats are essentially, you can see, enough strength to wear your gear, and then you just dump it in vitality. That's a shit ton of vitality. I mean, I don't need any dex, I don't need any energy. You don't need a single piece of dex to wear this armor, and not much strength. So you are just a big old meaty tanky boy. So okay, show a couple maps as we do. In fact, actually, what I think I'd rather do is just show you a Thrones of Insanity. So now that I've gone through everything, we'll just do a quick Thrones, and I think, because I think that is the best way to show it. And show the build. I apologize, my dogs are going to start barking, having fun. We'll get our guys up real quick. We'll do this one more time, just to get the timer right, and let's get into it. So you'll notice the one thing I do need to do sometimes is reset my Hurricane, because that's going to drop off before everything else does. And I mean, look at your health. You're at 2.8k HP. You are a very tanky. You have your Mercenary taunting. Your life after each kill is 14, which is very nice. You have the Solar Creeper, which is giving you some health back. I think it's the Solar Creeper. Maybe it's just the Creeper. Hey, you know what? I don't think I got one of my... There you go. One of my vines wasn't alive. You got the Creeper, and the nice thing is you get the, you know, when you look at this, the Carrion Vine gets synergies from Oak Sage, so you're actually getting more life back from corpses, which is nice. But you can see when I teleport into stuff, as long as I'm proccing that amp and I'm proccing that Firestorm, those things are definitely gonna die. You'll see they die, right? And this is a tough T3 map. So you know, this is not an easy map. This is not a T1, you know, where things just fall over. So you are still, there's still a high risk to doing these big maps, but stuff dies and you're able to stay alive pretty well. And I'm sorry, I'm kind of chatting while I do this, so I'm not really focusing too much on super fast clear speeds, but I just kind of wanted to show you what it looks like when you do teleport into packs. That was a big scary pack, but good thing we have 2.8k HP. Right, so Firestorm procs, and look at the proc chance, right? 20% and 12% chance on your procs, which are not low. I mean, it's not a 33% chance like a Reaper's Toll does, but it's still very good. I usually don't have an issue proccing my amp. And I mean, 20% for Firestorm is pretty awesome. As I said in the intro, again, I think I don't feel like anything goes to waste. I don't, you know, I think with the Destruction rune word, I felt like things were going to waste. Because you're not synergizing the meteors, you're not synergizing the Frost Nova you get from Destruction. And the Boulder wasn't that strong, and it didn't really proc that much, to be honest. But with this, I feel like you're using everything. I don't feel like things are going to waste, which I think is a cool part of the build. I don't like seeing stuff go to waste. And of course, the not running the Infinity Iron Golem just makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside. I feel like it's easy on Pluggy, but I feel like if I tried to run Infinity Iron Golem, I would just play nervous the entire season, And that's not fun for me. I like to just be reckless, and hey, if I die, I die, no big deal, you know. So anyway, that's my take on it. Again, you do have to keep your eye on your Hurricane because it is going to drop off. It's not the biggest deal if it drops off. It's like, I do think, but I think it's worth putting a point in because you're getting that slow. But I did hear that possibly the slow doesn't work with Hurricane. You're just doing cold damage. So feel free to correct me. And if that's the case, then you probably don't even need to run it and just get another couple points into Oak Sage. But I think I've shown in my videos that the hardest part about this map is he's a pretty scary dude, this boss. But you can see, I mean, he is dropping, right? And the nice thing is he's a pet killer, and you're not doing pets anymore, so you don't really have to worry about that. Pet and mercenary killer. Same thing that goes for the sewers boss, and you know he's gonna just chunk your pets down, HP down like immediately. So always having to resummon, but you're not running pets on this build, which I think I like. I think just you're using that 2.8k HP as a nice buffer. Now, obviously, you're not going to get 2.8k in real life. I am using tons of 20 plus, you know, full stack 20 life, full stack, well, not quite full stack, but 45 life. So you're not going to get up 2.8k. Maybe you'll get 2.5k. You know, if you are able to get some good gear, but still, that's a lot of HP. All right. So I just want to show, like, it's dying, right? So even if I had teleported away, I didn't do anything after that. You know, the volcano's still running. Like, sure, you could say my Armageddon killed some stuff, but yeah, stuff's still gonna die. So you're still clearing the map. And again, I've always said I am someone who likes completion of maps. I don't like when people, you know, try to show a build and end up leaving tons of stuff alive. I do still think it'd be awesome if we got a map density counter, like a percentage as you discover mobs, but hey, I already put that in my feedback. I don't know if it's possible, but it would be cool. I think we're actually getting near the end of this map. We've actually done the whole thing. Already went up there. I think the map's done. So even with me talking, we're sub 6 minutes. So again, this is cool. I like it. I am also testing the sewers. I won't show it here. I know I've shown some sewers in the past. I am able to get it sub 5 minutes, you know, so between 4:30 and 5, I think is my target time for like good builds. So yeah, this definitely does sewers quickly. As you saw, it does thrones quickly. It's going to do most of your fire physical maps quickly. I also ran it through a Zoltan Cool, and it was very easy. I was surprised how easy and tanky I was. Remember, the scariest part about Zoltan Cool is those quill beasts who are just terrifying. But you do have all that defense against missiles, so I think that helps a lot. And, you know, it does show 105% physical damage reduction, but I didn't see it to be a problem. You're still doing tons of fire damage, and you have amp, so you're just breaking right through that immunity. Another easy map is River of Blood. Another easy map is Trials. So those are your nice T2 maps. Obviously Cows, and I think Thrones, and that's probably not going to happen because the 140 fire. But you still have some good options to do for your T3s. So. Anyways, guys, that is it. That's the build. I hope you like it. I do think this is the better version of the Fire Druid, the Fire Innocence proc Druid. Yeah, so I've enjoyed doing it. I had fun with it. If you have any comments, feedback, please share it in the comments. As always, feel free to subscribe if you like my videos. Like, subscribe, all the good stuff. And shoot me a comment if you want to see anything else or you think anything needs to be adjusted. But that's it. Hope you guys have a good day. It is 4th of July, so for our American friends, happy Independence Day. For our EU friends, hey, we still love you. All right, guys, have a good one. Bye.